Beloved, welcome back to the shop. Well, today I'm taking you guys out on the road. We are going into the big city to visit my man Paco and get new tires on the F-Thrifty. F-Thrifty, boy, it's not gonna be thrifty today. 4 tires, $2,000. But there's no hyperinflation, gentlemen. So I have been very, very unhappy with my previous choice of the Ridge Grappler. It has been not a great tire. It hasn't lasted very long, and well, it was so bad I couldn't even get out of my shop last winter with 2 inches of snow on the ground. So this year, we're going something completely different. I've got a tire guy I've used for years by the name of Paco. Paco runs a small independent tire store, and I've watched him grow it from a little business in his house to a staple in the community. Now, him and I always go round and round when I call him about tires. He's always trying to push some value brand, no name tire on me and telling me that they're just as good as a name brand. And I'm like, Paco, I want BFG KO3s. That's what I typically run, or KO2s before that. Well, he can't get them. So we've been trying for a week and they're just not available anywhere. How you doing, brother?
Hey, what's up, Cody?
It's great to see you.
Likewise.
The shop is looking good.
Yeah, it's smaller and smaller, my friend.
Yeah, so you're doing good work here. Ooh, goodness. That is a handsome tire. That is the Goodyear Kevlar Duratrack RT in a 295/70 R18. $500 a piece. But there's no inflation, gentlemen. Everything is just fine. But man, this is going to be a good snow tire from what I hear. It's all siped from the factory. The siping collects snow, and then snow on snow is pretty grippy. How do the brakes look here? Probably got another winter on them. Plenty of brakes back there. Those look stiff.
Yeah, that's what you want, big heavy duty.
Paco, can I ask you a question? Mm-hmm. What's the best truck tire in your opinion for value and performance? Of everything,
You want to know the truth?
Of everything you see, I want to know the truth.
Goodyear's one, Falcon's the other one, Cooper, and BF Goodrich.
Those are the top 4?
I would say those are the top 4.
And if money was no object, which one would you put on your truck?
Me personally, I like the Falcon.
So how do you feel about guys that bring tires in full of green slime? Is that your favorite thing?
I tell them I'm going to charge them double when they do that.
Is there anything better than getting a brand new set of tires on your truck? I don't know what it is about it, but it just always gives me the fizz. I store my gear in 3 places on the truck. In the back, I have my retrieval bag. I carry a shovel. Usually I'm gonna swap this out with a square point for shoveling out cars and snow. And then the newly added brand new Nanic first aid trauma kit, which I'll keep back there as well. So let's start by going through the retrieval gear. I keep my retrieval gear in this Vertex bag. They have all different sizes of these. They're square, and they are really nice. I really like the soft bags. It'd be a lot better if you had to have one in your cab if you get in a rollover than something hard inside there. So you have to kind of think about that. I'll lay everything out, and then we can talk about the individual items and why. And please feel free to chime in on the comments if you are a retrieval expert, and you can add to what I have here. We're here to learn from each other. So that we can, because a lot of us didn't have dads, you know, to tell us this stuff, or our dads didn't know. So we have to be careful. Those of us who grew up using these things have to be careful to remember not everyone had that advantage. So that's why I like to lay this out and kind of explain everything. All right, that is the full retrieval kit. Let's start with the backbone of a retrieval kit. If I was going to invest in anything, this is where I would start right here. It would be a 30-foot bubber rope, a dynamic rope. These ropes have changed the game from back in the days when we used to use chains and all of the violence that came with that. These are really nice. They have a bit of a stretch to them, and even if you're locked up with a chain and you're just with a static hookup, if you start spinning, there's nothing you can do. With this, you can get a little bit of a roll and use that bungee spring effect. It's very effective, and it's much more kind on the components of the car, especially when you're pulling out like more city cars that don't have retrieval hooks on them. You know, sometimes it's really hard to get underneath there and get a perch. And for that, these new soft shackles are really where it's at. But remember, these are not going to handle abrasion very well. So make sure it's going to go over something smooth and not over a hard edge. What these are is just a really fabulous, like a monkey head knot that you put through the hole, and now you can connect to pretty much anything, especially retrieval hooks. And have 2 of them. Have 2 of them that are pretty heavy rated. These get a lot of wear and tear, and all this stuff does. So just oversize it a little bit. But a 30-foot bubber rope and 2 of these soft shackles are the thing. If I was going to expand upon that, actually this is part of it too. Get one of these. Don't pull on your trailer ball. If you want to know why, go on Twitter and watch some of those videos of broken trailer ball accidents. They're not to be pulled on. You want one of these. And I'll put links in the description of the ones that I have, but will replace your trailer hitch. Always carry an extra pin as well. You never know if you don't have the hitch in there, or even with this right here, if you get in a pinch, you can pull with this. And take the time to install, if you haven't already, really good retrieval points or a front end hitch. If you can get a front end hitch, you can put your shackle or your clevis in the front of this as well by going through the receiver. It's not ideal. This is a little bit sharp of an angle, but it's better than pulling on a trailer ball, in my opinion. And then from there, I would also grab one of these, just a traditional, is it a clevis? I believe I always call it a shackle. It's a clevis, all metal. So you can, if you have something sharp where this is going to get cut or get torn up, you just don't want to sacrifice it for someone else, some stranger you're pulling out, then get one of these. And usually you can, with a combination of this, you can pretty much figure it out. Also get a tree strap. If you're in the forest, when I get stuck, I've got a 16.5 thousand pound winch on the front of my 350. I will wrap the trees with this because I don't want that cable to damage them, and I don't want to damage my cable. This can also be pressed into service if you just need a little bit of extra reach to a tree, as well as the bubble rope. Last year I got stuck, or 2 years ago, in my trailer up in the snow down to the axles, and we were just shy of reaching a tree to get winched out. If I wouldn't have had this and this together, hooked together, I wouldn't have been able to make it. It was really down to inches. So this stuff's all kind of versatile, but that's really makes up the Retrieval kit. From there, don't forget your winch controller. Nothing is more sickening than to need your winch and go in the back and realize you took it out and didn't put it back in. Very, very important. Ask me how I know. Next up, if I was going to expand my Retrieval kit, it's going to be with a snatch block at least. This is the traditional one. You can change directions with your winch line. By using multiples of these, you can double your winch's pull, so it gears it down. So if you have a 10,000 pound winch with a double block system there and back, and then back to the tree, now you're pulling 20,000 but half the speed. So having one of these for redirect is really nice. I'm just trying these. These are the new ones. If you have synthetic line, this kind of replaces the roller. And this is basically designed where the rope can go either way. And if we ever get in a spot this winter where we need this, I'll show you how it works. I've never used it yet, but I understand how it works. Pro tip I learned from my granddad: right on your shroud, above your core support, the tools and the filter number and how many quarts that you need for your oil change. That way you can open it up, grab the 13mm wrench. You don't have to guess what you need. Collapsible shovel, combi tool, we call it. This opens up if you need to dig out from underneath of it. You'll be glad to have it. Your hands get wet and they get cold trying to scrape snow out with your floor mats. It's pretty miserable. You can chop through wood with this, to a limit, dig stuff out, but a very good tool and not a bad defensible weapon either if you got nothing. If it's this or your hands, would you rather have this? We're gonna have leather gloves for cold. Maybe insulated if it's going to be really cold where you live, but leather gloves to protect your hands while you're putting tire chains on. You're working with the cold metal, the cables, and duct tape. You get a chain or something that's flapping in an emergency or tearing up your car, or all that stuff that goes on, you can tape it up. So I throw that in there. And then a rain jacket. You're going to be laying down in the snow, in the rain. You don't want to get your Ironheart frock all dirty, right? So keep a raincoat. Just get a thrift store one, throw it in there. You'll be glad you had it, especially when it's always the miserable weather when someone needs a retrieval. And then kitty litter. I've got myself out of places so many times with this. If it's just really icy and super slippery, like roads that get really packed down, or when they're right at that freezing temperature, you can sprinkle a little bit of this under cars and they'll get going. Once they get going, they're usually pretty good. So cat litter, double bag it. Double bag it, please. And that's it. So let's pack it up and then we'll go into my tire kit. Pro tip, when you're repacking, save your rain jacket and your gloves for the last, or the top, because that's what you're going to be reaching for first. And that makes a nice package. This is a perfect case for this. This is the Vertex, I forget the line. I'll put a link to this in the description, but these are really nice truck packs because they can kind of grab like a tote, but they're soft, and I like the way they keep their shape and they're stackable. So these are really nice. All right, let's grab the tire kit next. The second place I store gear is this locker underneath the seat. This is also in a Vertex bag. The rest of this contents here I'll pull out after this. This is the tire kit. Next to your retrieval gear, this is probably among the most important. What you're typically going to have a problem with is going to be a flat tire or a leak. So first off, this is enough hose. This is a 20 and a 10 ARB hoses with quick attaches that go to a compressor I have underneath the hood. So I have an ARB compressor hardwired in. I mounted the compressor in the engine bay on the driver's side here, and I like to put the switch on the outside. Because if I would turn it on, I don't want to have to keep getting inside the cab. So I'd rather have it out here. So that will, the quick attach hose will go on there, and then we can air up all of the tires or whatever you need, have a blower, whatever. This is the remainder of the gear that's in the locker in the back seat. So this is a backpacking water filter. We have streams, rivers, ponds within a stone's throw of everywhere. So I keep one of these in here. Emergency blanket. If it gets cold, stolen from United or Delta, it looks like. Good flashlight. I like these. These are the Streamlight Survivors. They're 90 degrees, so you can sit them down, and they're kind of hands-free if you have to work on something. Also, they have a very piercing spotlight, so they're not a flood. So they're definitely very spotty, but they'll cut through fog and they'll show long distances for search and rescue. They're pretty good. We use these in the fire department. 4 AA batteries and a very durable case. This is a great must-have here. Fire extinguisher, they're not all created equal. Insist on Amerex. That's the brand you want. This is the proper ones. The other ones will fail. Some protein of your choice. Nice to have some food. This is the emergency kit right here, basically the mini survival kit. So this is going to be in a small Vertex, one of those VTAC packs. But in here, I've got road flares. This is an EDC kit from AMP3, from my friend AMP3 LLC. Cage number, there it is, but you can see the contents. This is a tremendous little kit right here. How much thought went into that, but a full EDC kit. Ride in the rain, if you need to leave, if you want to be a passive-aggressive Portlander, you can leave notes on people's car, which they are always doing to me. I don't know why they're always focusing on me. I think they don't like my big truck. We have water purification tabs. We've got quick survive, fire starter, USB cables for all types of phones, C, A, Apple, extra batteries for the flashlight, and a pair of lighters. For the center console, I've got it came with a locking vault here. Field glasses, as my granddad used to call them, field binoculars. Really good idea to have binoculars. An extra GAT, a blicky. What do we have in here? Random magazines for the blicky. Some of my lower budget hearing protection. I've got the Howard lights here. I'll throw those in because I don't use them on a regular basis, so that's nice to have. I don't want to blast out my ears. And then I have also a jump pack charger right here. Now there's a USB port, so I bought a little USB adapter, or there's a cigarette lighter in there that I can charge. So this thing's charging all the time because I'm always running into these things and where they're discharging. It's always a bummer when you need it bad. The 2 things, electronic countermeasures that I've added, is upgraded the antenna, an extra antenna, and a digital scanner. Man, this helped me out last night. I was telling the guys, the Warband, this morning during the live stream, that I was going into town last night and it was really bad, the conditions. It was snowing and raining and there was a terrible accident in front of me, and the fire department had just gotten there and they were working on these 2 folks that were in the street. It was just terrible. But having the scanner, I knew about this beforehand. I was listening to the whole thing. I knew where it was. I knew the units that were responding, and I was able to make a correction and avoid that whole scene by turning around and taking another road because I had that scanner. And also, I also knew I could, when I finally got around it and I was on the highway, it was really foggy and everybody was driving slow. I knew that there were going to be emergency vehicles coming, and I could make sure that I was kind of ready for that because the driving was just so difficult. The next thing I've added is a GoPro. I had an old GoPro Hero 10, I think it is, or a 9, and if you take the battery out, and there's a setting on there where you can loop it, make it loop. So I've got like a 516 megabyte card in there. This will loop for like every hour and a half or 90 minutes. 516. And so just keep it. If you take the bad 516. Toothless, where'd you come from? Oh, you're getting wild. She's been outside for 24 hours now. She thinks she's an outdoor cat. Maybe you are. Maybe you are. How are you doing? I keep a couple things in the door panel. This is an asp. These are pretty nasty. When a determined man comes after you with one of those, and then, of course, oh, see, you can never trust electronics. If that was a revolver in there, you bet it'd work, right? It would have went bang. An extra magazine that I'll clip on from our G19X if I'm if I want going to leave the truck. A phone for Mrs. W because she's too thrifty to upgrade to the latest technology, so I have to have the lightning wire for her when she rides with me. Usually I have the big bear spray in here, but I had to ditch it because I had it in my luggage when I went to the airport last time, so I got to replace that. I carry a Refuge medical trauma kit on the back, on the headrest here. These are designed for that, so the straps go around with the Velcro. You can grab this, and this is a really nice kit. This is going to have your tourniquet on the bottom, trauma shears. This is a full, like a really robust IFAC for emergencies, and it's always there. So you can tell someone, hey, go grab it. It's on the back of my seat. It's ready to go. You're not digging through gear. So something like that's really nice. Would you like some bonus content? Would you like to see inside my personal enhanced EDC? Hit that thumbs up, gentlemen. You got it? Okay, since you did that, let's go crack it open. This bag, I believe, is the medium duffel bag. And this is, I'm going to usually keep this in the shop, but if I'm going to leave and go out of town or any more than an hour or so away, I'll just grab this. It's already pre-packed and ready to go. So it gives me a lot. This is my personal stuff. So I'm going to have a full set of Vertex rain gear here. This will be top and bottom. These are cut kind of large, so they'll fit over my normal clothes. But if I need to walk out or anything, I don't want to get all wet because I'm always in cotton. I usually have these Defenders with me in this bag as well. This is a Peltor Defender, so enhanced headphones. I've got a Mira gas mask here, right there that I keep in the case. It's an Avon case. I keep an extra pair of like really durable shoes. These are Ultras, kind of trail runners, light barefoot shoes. I like to wear barefoot shoes, and so if I'm in something that's not appropriate for cold weather or snow, these are gonna be pretty good. With this and the Vertex rain gear, you know, that's a pretty powerful setup there to stay warm and dry. This is the webbing I keep on my dirt bike. It's 20 feet of military grade webbing with a locking carabiner. Just handy for so many things. I usually carry this on my moto in the summertime, but in the wintertime, I just put it back over here. In this battery, in this case here, is a Sawyer water filter. This is the type you can thread it onto the end of a water bottle that you already have and filter. These are really versatile. Plus, there's 2 Mylar bags in here. And what's cool about these bags, if you have a water supply, you know, they don't take up any space, and you can fill these up, and that'll give you 2 liters of water, and you can filter it, which is cool. Because in the wintertime, you can't leave water in your truck, or it'll just freeze, unless you're in a heated garage, and I think most people are not. So you kind of have to find water where you're at. So that's a water module. Here are just all my batteries. This is my main battery pack. It's batteries for every piece of equipment that I have, all in one. So I take that in and out of this bag. And then finally, in the small SOE, like the shaving kit bag, I have a set of gloves, my Oakley gloves. I got an N95 mask. There's a couple of magazines in there for my Glocks. There's a Leatherman Wave multi-tool with bit kit, all in there. So this is just personal gear. One thing that I was just kind of thinking that I might add is some way of storing or having a Pelican or a Nanook box for rope. I've got like a big bull rope, like if you had someone over the side or just Retrieval, Swift Water, or whatever, without a piece of rope, there's not much you can do. So I think I might add that next year, or I'll be thinking about that. But I think that pretty much makes up the whole kit. Here's a bonus tip. If you do have a winch, these things are out in the weather all the time. Take a minute and plug your controller in and make sure it's still working. The solenoids get water in them, they get corrosion, they're famous for not working, so you don't want to find out when you need it that it's not running. Before you buy an ARB compressor, I would seriously consider one of these, or even, these are the Milwaukee, the small tire inflators. This is the M12. And this is the M18. If you have a car or light small truck, this is more than enough. It's not going to be really fast, but this is an excellent tool. We've used this heavy for the last couple years. If you have a full-size truck, get one of these. This will change your life. I don't know, with these available, I don't think I would put in an ARB anymore. I would just make a place for this, and I would have this in my system. It's going to be cheaper, easier, and a lot more flexible. That compressor and that ARB under there, it almost never gets used, where these things get used all the time, and they really do the same thing. So I'm kind of getting into the mindset of, rather than hard mounting everything and making things so specific. Make it flexible. Everything is changing so quickly. You want to have options and don't lock yourself down. Be able to pivot and move quickly. So something like this I think is a better choice than hard mounting an ARB compressor in. I think that's about it. I didn't show you the Katana boy. Now I'm going to throw a saw or a saw kit in the back if it's windy if there are trees, especially living in the forest. But this will cut a lot of stuff. These things are no joke. This is the Katana boy by Silky, and you can get through an 18-inch log if you had to, and it wouldn't take that long. They're very efficient cutters. What have you drug into my shop? Do I even want to know what that is? Something disgusting. That looks like a flat mouse.